So you never wanted a regular type life?
The fuck is that? Barbecues and ball games?
Yeah.
Just regular type life, that your life?
My life? No, my life. No, my life's a disaster, so. I got a stepdaughter so fucked up. Because her real father's this large type asshole. We got a wife. We're passing each other on the downslope of a marriage, my third. Because I spend all my time chasing guys like you around the block. That's my life.
No one's gonna fucking come to help me. No one's gonna fucking come to help me. It's fucking me against me, period. And so I had to man up. And I said, the first thing I gotta start doing is facing every fucking fear I have. No matter what the fuck it is, man. And these things would keep me up at night. No one, people who are hearing this shit, they will never really understand and grasp when you face these things and so many things, how they keep you up and haunt you at night. And I had two options. To either be that 300-pound guy who sprayed for cockroaches and made $1,000 a month, and at 24 years old, knowing when I'm 50 fucking years old, I can reflect on this and think about what guy I never became, or I can totally just sack it up and fail and fail and fail until I succeed.
Listen to me, if you wake up in the morning and it kills you to get in the shower and put your clothes on, get in that car and drive to your job, you hate it so bad, get out. You are in the wrong place. You don't belong there. I'm telling you, you don't belong there. And you know it. You know you don't belong there. You're just scared to make that move. That move is scary.
So how do you make the move? Do you put it at risk? Do I what? Like how do you make that move then? Like, do you put it at risk?
You walk out.
You walk out.
You walk out. Let me tell you what, when you start planning on doing something, it's like anybody in this room who has a kid. It's never the right time to have a kid. You never have enough money. It's never the right time. But then you have a baby and it all works out. You make it work. It's the same thing with this. When you decide, life is very short. Way too short to be miserable and get up and drive to a miserable job that you hate every day. It's just, life's too short for that. Get up and go out. As long as you know what you want to do, you wake up every day grinding and just working toward that goal.
If you will change, everything will change for you. You don't have to change what's outside. All you've got to change is what's inside. To have more, you simply have to become more. And then he said, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Start working on yourself, making these personal changes, and he said it'll all change for you. So let's talk a little bit about personal development, that extraordinary adventure I undertook starting at age 25. And I've never ceased that adventure. I'm still going for it in the 90s. I want to get better and better. I want my craft to get better, my business operations to get better, the things I do to get better. Because once I picked up this simple formula, I'm telling you, it's easy to figure out where the problem is if you go to work on it.
This 30 seconds is your life passing you by, an opportunity to change. It's your prerogative. Do you want to go down the fucking path you have right now of your life and where it's going? Or do you see an alternate path that's not flatlined, but climbing up an echelon of remembrance, a possibility where dreams exist, legacy exists, the possibility of change is within the grasp of these hands, within the grasp of 30 seconds. It's within you. You had the will. You're here. I know you had the will. You had the intestinal fortitude. You had the want of change. I'm going to be with you. I'm going to support that want. And I'm going to make your dream into reality. Stay with me. This workout right here is right here in your home. You're confident, secure. We're going to build that confidence up so we can embark on the third-party subjective natures of the world and beat them down and rise superior above them. It all starts with 30 seconds, believe it or not. Everything starts with the first step. You guys came here. You guys had that in you. I'm going to enhance it.
You think when you're young that you have all this time. You have no time. There's no time. I mean, one of the quotes on the wall in the gym in there is, there is no tomorrow. From Rocky 3, you know, there is no tomorrow. Fuck that shit. Let's get all this shit done today.
Listen, bro, I don't know you, bro. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do on the weekends, bro. I don't know what you do on a day-to-day basis. But if you feel like you ain't doing enough, then you're not doing enough. If you have any type of contemplation or thought, you're not doing enough. You gotta change your life, bro. Everything. Best YouTuber, best bodybuilder, best boxer, best clothing brand owner, best author, best cook. You're top percent, which means you're doing everything that anyone else isn't. Actually, you're stacking up better days than average people.
Because it gives them hope. For as long as there is no hope that anybody could do the thing, lose the weight, that means that you have an excuse. Well, Adele hasn't done it. I don't need to do it.
Right.
No one else within the particular community has ascended and found that they're able to get in a relationship with a woman or be attractive to a woman or have a conversation with a woman. Therefore, I don't have to. But the delta is felt. They say that true hell is when the person that you are meets the person you could have been.
Ooh. So I know why you go on Instagram. I know why because you just have the time. You have the time because you don't want to put that time into bettering oneself. So I know why I'm misunderstood. I'm misunderstood by people who have plenty of time on their hands to misunderstand me because they are exactly where I once was, which is a low-life, lazy piece of shit. And it's the harsh reality of people who troll you, who go after you. They have nothing better to do with their lives. It's not some after-school special. It's the truth by once was that way. I know where it all comes from. That's why it's frustrating to me now, because I'm not so frustrated at the fact that I'm being trolled. I'm frustrated by the fact that you don't have the courage to try to be somebody better than what you're not. And that's the frustrating part.
See, the point is, you don't know how much future you've got. What's gone is gone. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Some of you have had divorces. Some of you have probably had bankruptcies. Some of you have had terrible things happen in the past. But what's gone is gone. It's in the past. And to spend your time focusing on the past is to spend the only thing that you've got, and that's what's right here, right now, because the sand never stops running. This is all we've got. And to spend your time now thinking of what happened there is making absolute certain that the future is going to be the same as the past. Now, I don't suppose many of us spend a lot of time thinking about that, but a lot of us spend a lot of time making that error.
And so it doesn't mean that I'm asking you to commit to be successful. I'm asking you to commit to keep running, to keep walking the marathon. Even if you have to pant and you have to slow down, you just can't stop. And so the best way to hit next year's goals is to not wait until next year to work on them. It's to start now. Because I'll tell you this, if you feel like you need a special occasion to begin making your life better, then it assumes that a special occasion must always be there for you to want to improve yourself. It shows that you don't think today is worth improving. And so that means that you typically will always cast forward when you think things are worth improving. And so the easiest way to vote with your action is to make today the only day that is good, because it's the only day you have control over.
What the hell are you even doing here, bro? You understand you got this opportunity one time, right? And this is how you're spending it? You think it's all just a joke right now because you're young, huh? You think you got all the time in the world to get your life back in your hands. Well, let me tell you, you're going to think that way every single day. And one day you're going to be fucking 30. One day you're going to be 40 and 50. And guess what? Because you didn't want to make the change now, you're going to suffer later. When I'm telling you, you only got one chance just like me, I'm not fucking lying. In this world, we do not come back to life, okay? Maybe we go to a different place, but that's up for you to decide. But as far as planet Earth, this is it. You just haven't been scared to die yet, have you? You haven't realized that this really is going to end, right? You might think it slightly. Oh yeah, I'm going to die one day. But wait till you actually feel that shit. Only until then are you going to wake up. You know, there's rules to this life, this whole Earth thing, that we don't know about and we'll never know about. But there's two rules that will never change. You will die, but when you're alive, I'm talking when you're alive, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Go be great.
Action without planning is the cause of underachievement. Action without planning is the cause of frustration, time wastage, anxiety, stress, and lack of success in life. So organized plans of action are critical. Now, what is an organized plan of action? An organized plan of action is where you take your goal, you take your objective, and you write out every single step that you're going to have to follow in order to accomplish that objective. You write it out and you list all those plans of action, all of those different activities, and you organize them together into a plan that you can then implement on a day-to-day basis. You decide which has to be done first and which has to be done last, which is more important, which is less important. In fact, the ability to set goals and to create plans for their accomplishment is the master skill of success. If all you learned in life was the ability to be a continuous goal setter and a continuous planner, day and night, planning, organizing, planning, writing, thinking about what you're trying to accomplish, you'll accomplish more in a year or 2 years than most people accomplish in 10 years or an entire lifetime.
Thought that maybe settling for mediocrity was a good idea because it was safe. Don't do it. Take a chance, take a risk, find that passion, rekindle it, fall in love all over again. It's really worth it.
Actually give yourself the reality glasses, not the woe is me glasses, but think, no, really, if I had to do this, all of the things that I would have to improve, then you see how incredibly long that list is. And then you take this deep breath, and that list is the hard work. It's starting at the top, wanting to cross the first one off after your first day, but then realizing you still haven't done it well enough to cross it off. And you're like, wait, I have to do another day and I still haven't, quote, made a dent in this list. And then you do it another day and a third day and a fifth day and a fifth week. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I think I've got the first one done.
I don't really like those words, self-help or self-management or self-improvement. I don't really like what those words have come to mean these days. Because there's a lot of people out there that are constantly trying to improve themselves by looking for the one change. The one change, right? The one change in their life that's gonna make their dreams come true. And even worse, on top of that, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of self-help gurus and these hyperactive motivational speakers and these other self-appointed modern Zen yoga warriors that they're trying to sell the one thing. They're trying to sell the 9 steps or the enlightened path that's going to allow you to unlock all of your human potential and fulfill the dreams so you can live the life that you've always wanted to live.
What one great thing would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? If you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that you could not fail, what one thing would you set as a goal for yourself? Because sometimes answering that question will tell you the one thing that you've been put on this earth to accomplish. One final point with regard to goals is that goals must be in writing. You must write them down, you must rewrite them, you must define them, you must redefine them. The top 1% of successful people in every area have very clear, specific, written goals. And most of them carry their goals around with them.
75 years. That's how much time you get if you're lucky. 75 years, 75 winters, 75 springtimes, 75 summers, and 75 autumns. When you look at it like that, it's not a lot of time, is it? Don't waste them. Get your head out of the rat race and forget about the superficial things that preoccupy your existence and get back to what's important now. Right now, this very second. And I'm not saying drop everything and let the world come to a grinding halt. I'm saying that you can become a seeker. You can be loving more. You can be taking some chances. You can be living more. You can be spending more time with your family. You can be getting in touch with the part of you that lives instead of fears, the part of you that loves instead of hates.
To alleviate fear, you do not alleviate what causes fear. You help alleviate the reaction to what causes fear. Because I can't go out there and remove every single plastic bag on this planet. I can't remove every dog in the yard of the house that you're driving by. I can't go out there and tell the log trucks, everybody stop and park your trucks, because I'm riding horses today, okay? Your job is not to take away what causes fear. Your job is to take away the fear. There's a big difference.
When you change, everything will change for you. When you get better, everything will get better for you. And that's where I picked up that phrase, for things to change, you've got to change. You don't have to change the marketplace. You don't have to change the marketing plan. You don't have to change the economy. You don't have to change countries. You don't have to change circumstances out there. All you've got to do is look within and see if you can change yourself for the better. And as you change, things will start to change for you.
And it isn't 10 things, and it isn't 100 things. It isn't a quick path, and there are no shortcuts. Meditation won't get you there, and neither will a miracle drug or an organic supplement or some superfood. Getting better isn't a hack or a trick or a one change that you need to make. Getting better is a campaign. It's a campaign. It's a daily, a weekly, it's an hourly fight. An incessant fight that doesn't stop against weakness and against temptation and against laziness. It's a campaign of discipline. It's a campaign of hard work and dedication. It's waking up early and going to bed late and grinding out every second in between. Every single day.
So it's a new year. But is it really going to be a new you? I mean, what's going to make this year any different? I mean, what's going to keep you committed? What's going to make you stay dedicated to that mission? Anybody can talk it, but the question is, can you live it? The question is, can you be consistent? It's easy to make a decision, but what's hard is staying loyal to your vision. What's hard is waking up every day to go get it. Ain't nothing in this world given. So if you want to make a change, get outside your comfort zone and stop living inside your limits. Stop playing with your life. Get up and go fight for your dreams. Because anything is possible to the heart that believes. You gotta believe. You gotta feel that purpose in your soul. Because too many people set goals, but they never put in the work to see their dreams unfold. It's time to break through. It's time for you to stay loyal to what you said you were gonna do. Even when that mood is left, even when that struggle gets the best of you, don't let it stress you. It's not there to break you, it's just there to test you. It's just there to show you.
How many times do you have to hear, if nothing changes, nothing changes? Right? We all have heard this. I don't even know where it comes from. I probably heard that first when I was 10 years old. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And yet, somehow we expect things to change. We expect things to change. You think you're gonna get in better shape. You think you're gonna get more money. You think your relationship is gonna improve. You think you're gonna get promoted. You think you're gonna get a raise. You think the world is going to get better without you doing anything, but it isn't. Nothing is going to change unless you change what you're doing. Change the junk food that you're eating. Change the time that you wake up. Change what you do when you get out of bed. Change what you do with your time.
Guys, what do you wish you'd done before you died?
Paint a self-portrait.
Build a house. And you?
I don't know. Nothing. Come on, get in the right.
You have to know the answer to this question. If you were to die right now, how would you feel about your life?
I don't know. I wouldn't feel anything good about my life. Is that what you want to hear me say? Fine.
Not the things you're forced to do. Okay? If you change your life, if you want to change your life, you must change your ways. You must develop discipline. You must develop strength. I tell you these things because I want to share that with you. I kind of want to wrap it up now and just say that it doesn't matter where you are in life. It really doesn't. Because the great thing about life is it's always your next move. Your next move that counts. No matter where you are. You could be, look, I was dead broke. My electric bill was being shut off. And there were people even like worse off than I was. It doesn't matter. You could change your life if you want to. It's always your next decision.
So, you want to get better? You want to self-improve? Stop looking for a shortcut and go find your alarm clock and find your discipline and find your guts and your passion and your drive and find your will. And then you will find your freedom.
how bad you really want it. And to be real with you, when you're serious about change, you don't need a new year because all you need is a new moment, so own it. It's time to kill those old ways. Because when you're focused on your vision and committed to your purpose, you don't have to chase money because dedication pays. But those weak habits gotta break. That mindset reshaped. You gotta believe the odds are beatable even when the odds say it's impossible. That's what I call faith. And that's what it's gonna take. 24/7, 365, you gotta live it, breathe it, be it every single day. Conquer any challenge that gets in the way. And remember, it's more about what you do and less about what you say. So if you couldn't say one word, what would your life speak? Would it still say you about conquering your struggle, create new peaks? Would it still say you're about getting the most out of your life? Every moment matters. When you realize 150,000 people die every night, ain't none of this promised. Ain't none of this guaranteed. So the question I want to ask you is this. When you fight your last fight, what's the legacy that you gonna leave? Stop playing with your life. In 2017, it's rehab time. Let's get it.
Behavior, thoughts. So if you change your behavior, then generally your thoughts, your feelings, and your perceptions change.
Yeah.
And everyone tries to come at it from the other end, but he's figured out through whatever process led him there and incredible life circumstances, how to run it in this direction of behavior first.
Yeah.
And I really think that if neuroscience has anything to offer, it's some understanding of what the underlying chemicals and neural circuits are, but the sooner that the human animal, the human species can start to understand that our feelings and our thoughts and our memories and all that is very complicated, but that when behaviors are very concrete and they are the control panel for the rest of it.
Think about how many years, months, hours, seconds, days, all that shit you have wasted on people who suck the fucking life out of you. Today's a good day for you to go through and shit can those motherfuckers. Shit can those motherfuckers who only call you when they fucking need something. Shit can those motherfuckers who can't get over shit. Who continue to bring up shit from the past. Who can't move forward. Life is short. Life is precious. Spend that time with the people you love. The people you want to give that time to. Real friends, real family. Everybody else, they're just sucking up the air you breathe. You need that motherfucker to be hard.
In life, folks, you cannot change your life unless you change something. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got. No matter what it is. Many times you say to yourself, I gotta lose weight, I'm too fat. And then you know what? During the day you eat at night, and the next day you get mad at yourself. Well, what do you want? What do you want? You gotta change something. Well, a lot of actors, I don't want to go see that. They feel funny. They don't want to see a director or see people. I go, no, you gotta try. You gotta get out there. You gotta fake it till you make it. Do something. They get embarrassed because they're not working. I said, well, then if you don't want to meet people, you'll always be not working. You gotta get out there.
That's what you need to do. You have to change some things or nothing will change. So make changes and start little. Get up a little bit earlier. Get a workout done. It doesn't have to be epic. You don't have to do a 3-hour leg day. But get up and get something done. And how about you plan your day? How about you plan what you're gonna do in the day? How about you bring your lunch to work with you so you don't have to eat a slice of pizza or a damn burger and fries? How about you change what time you get to work by showing up 10 minutes earlier? And you square your gear away, or you dial in your tools, or your desk, or your workspace.
The fear is never reaching your potential.
That's it.
That always falling short, always quitting before you're done, always procrastinating, always not doing the right thing. And then one day you're an old man.
Yep.
And you look back and go, God, I could have been great.
Yep.
I could have been great.
I never forget one time I was running by a graveyard when I was fucking just trying to become, I was fat. And I ran by a graveyard and I looked out there And I have all these epiphanies, man. I have all these fucking moments of it's crazy, man, of just thought. Cause I'm always by myself. I'm always in deep fucking thought about how to be better. And I look out there, I'm like, man, I wonder how many of you motherfuckers in there fucking just are so upset with how you lived your life. And fucking just regret how you lived it. And I'm running a 300-pound man thinking, man, don't fucking die like this, bro. Don't die like this. So people wonder where this shit comes from me. It comes from such deep thought of trying to see what this is all about. What is this life all about? What am I all about? Why am I here? You know, I had to find purpose.
You got 24 hours in a day. 8 hours you sleep, right? And most people work a 9 to 5. So 8 hours you working.
16 hours.
Okay, so we had 16 hours. We got breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we had this 19. It take you an hour to get ready. So we had 20 hours. So I cannot spend, you guys cannot spend 4 hours going to about, oh, they lying. Oh, I like this photo. Oh, they faking. Sending photos to other people. Y'all got to get focused. I'm where I'm at because I'm focused. Tunnel vision. I'm focused on what I got to do.
If we want to behave a certain way, then we want to increase the likelihood that a behavior occurs. And so B.F. Skinner said this, and I just love this. It's like my most savage quote of his. He says, people say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. False. He said, if I dehydrate the horse, I salt its mouth, I put it in the heat, and I put its face 1 inch away from water, I can veritably guarantee that it will drink. And I think about that visual all the time when I think about myself as the horse. And I think to myself, what is the behavior that I want, drinking water? And what is the salt in my mouth? And what is the dehydration, the motivation, for this behavior that I can create? And so I am not a believer in free will. I believe that we respond to the conditions that we've had, and then we learn behaviors as a result of those things.
That's what you need to do. You make those little changes, those little habits that you have to change them, those bad habits. And you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised the little things, the little changes, they add up and they become big things. Change the little things, and over time, you can change your life. But if you don't change what you're doing and how you do it, nothing else will change.
The most important thing is, the two most important, be really good at what you do and be well liked. You know what? You can't fail. You can't. And change the things you want to change about yourself. Change them. I know it's hard. Am I perfect? Of course not. Do I fuck up? Absolutely. I'm just a work in progress like everybody else. But the idea is to try to not mess up more than you do good. You mess up once a week, you go back on your strict diet, or you go back on your auditioning and your technique. That's the idea. But when you mess up a lot and you're only good half hour out of the day, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. No matter what you do. I don't care. I'm talking to people who are not just actors and writers and directors. I'm talking to people who are just alive and want to be successful.
When I know I need to change something, what I do is I change it. That's what I do. I change it. I've had people that listen to the podcast, and they've reached out to me over the past few years, and one of the main messages that they took and put into action was actually putting things into action, whatever that was. They stopped eating sugar. They stopped sleeping in. They started waking up early. They quit playing video games for 10 or 12 or 14 hours a day. They sold that Xbox thing
It starts with sometimes really simple things of, instead of lying in the bed the whole day, stand up. Instead of staying in your room the whole day, go outside in the air. Instead of just walking slowly through the park, start running through the park. Instead of running through the park, put some jumps in, put some more intensity in. So what it means is, step by step, do something that you get out of the heaviness, because it's not gonna come flying. And of course you cannot expect someone to make a huge leap from one day to another. But this is why there are steps. This is why sometimes time is also on your side. Step by step.
Do you believe that you're capable of change? Do you believe good things happen when you go through a process of learning and taking steps? Do you believe, going back to your belief, that you can actually get out of your patterns? Because you can be fooling yourself, you can be bullshitting, you can be saying, yeah, I kind of do, but deep down inside you don't really want to do it, because believe it or not, your bad patterns give you a degree of comfort, right? It's something that you know, and to get out of them, you're suddenly thrust into the unknown, and that could be very frightening. So you could be holding on to these bad patterns. So the belief that I can change, I can actually do something different in my life, I can actually recreate myself, I can actually learn things, I can actually rewire my brain, because the brain is incredibly plastic. Even at the age of 40, 50, you can change your career, you can learn new skills.
There's people that have quit drinking, that quit doing drugs, and quit losing their temper. And I've heard from so many different people that have implemented change in their lives. So many letters and messages and notes. And I want you to know that these people aren't a bunch of elite special operations warriors. That's not who they are. They aren't a bunch of high-level athletes or highly screened and highly trained individuals. These are just normal people, really. But they're normal people that knew they needed to make a change. And they decided they were going to make a change, and then they made it.
You end up being attempted murder. How could that be? How is that possible in a human being? How? Tell me how. You know why? Because that's how fragile life is. Someone has to be there for them. Someone has to care. And they saw that I cared. And that's why they accepted me. That's why they hugged me. And it felt good. It felt good for them, and it felt good for me. Because maybe a few of them would change or try to change.
It just teaches you how this works. Once you get this, y'all, you can change everything. Do you understand? Negativity, let me just give you this and I'm gonna walk away. Negativity, you can protect yourself from negativity. And that's what stops most people, negative thoughts. You can coat your mind from negativity. It's a real simple exercise to do. I do it every morning before I walk out the door. So I walk out as a positive person. You know, I get tired sometimes. That's different from being negative, because I get mentally drained from my job at times. But to coat your mind from negativity, the way you can put a coating around your mind is with one simple thing: gratitude. Gratitude erases negativity. It's not God picks certain people he'll make rich and certain people he don't. He gives all of us as his children the power of choice. You have a say-so in that. You can decide to be rich, and with God's help, it's highly doable. But you first have to think it. the difference between successful people and non-successful people is here. What makes it hard is your lack of belief that it can happen for you. The fact of it is, though, it's very doable. See, but you got to change, though. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're gonna keep getting what you've been getting. So if you're at a place in your life and you ain't happy with it, you have to change some things. But you have to make a conscientious decision that you're going to change. And it's not dependent on anybody else.
The first thing they should do is change their physiology. Because before you try to take care of your mind, you take care of your body. Your body affects your emotion. I teach people how to radically change their body in seconds. I do it with athletes or CEOs, whoever it is, and you can change it instantly. Not fake pump up bullshit, but a real biochemical change. I don't go and say, oh, when I'm ready, or it's like, when I say go, MFR, we go now. Yeah. And then when you do that every day, then when tough shit happens, you just say, oh, this is what we're doing, and your brain responds. So before they even work on their head, they gotta do something to make their body strong, because we all respond to challenge. You know that better than anybody. So if we keep every day giving a different kind of stimulus or challenge, we get stronger. Then how they become conscious of it is they simply ask themselves, in this moment, what am I focusing on? They start to ask, what am I focusing on? Well, what's wrong is always available. So is what's right. And so you just develop a new habit. You go, okay, look at that shit. Okay, erase, let me do this one, right? And then the meanings are the most important ones, because when you're really upset, there's a meaning.
I was not always this strong guy you see. I went through a lot of hard times in my life to get here today. And a story I'll tell you with real quick. I tried once to get in the Air Force, to be an Air Force pararescueman. And I quit for fear of the water. I was 175 pounds. I left the Air Force 4 years later at 300 pounds. He laughed at me. 7 other recruiters laughed at me. One recruiter finally said, come on in, I'm too busy to talk to you on the phone. He didn't know how much I weighed. I walked in the recruiter's office and he looked at me and he said, you're fat and you're black. I said I want to be a Navy SEAL. I didn't know there'd only been 35 African-American Navy SEALs at that time in over 70 years. He said I basically had to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months.
Your future self is begging you to stop wasting time. Every excuse, every delay is stealing the life that you could have had. Just imagine looking back 1 year from now and wondering why you didn't start today. I've been there, waiting for motivation, thinking I'd start when the time was right. But I learned something. The right time doesn't exist. You don't wait for motivation. You build discipline. So the biggest mistake here is waiting until you feel ready. Motivation is fleeting, but action, no matter how small, will build momentum. And that's how change begins. So here's what you do. Just pick one habit and stick to it. Stop doing so many things at the same time. And don't aim for perfection. Just aim to show up. Build trust with yourself and the results will follow, I promise you that.
But when you can really just free yourself from the weight of public opinion and the weight of your peers, right? And just be in that space of, this is what I'm doing. This is who I am. This is the path I'm on. And thank you for that. But it's not going to change the way I feel about me and myself and my journey. Do what you want. Have a dream. Go after that dream. Quit playing small. You were meant to do great things. And listening to these words, if you hear that small voice, piping up inside of you right now, that is your call to greatness. You were put here to do something big, to do something magnificent, to do something wonderful. Take this day today to start to walk tomorrow into that purpose, whatever it may be.
Started doing this triathlons and endurance sports, ultra runs, just to test my soul, to see what I'm about, to see in a 150-mile race at mile 75 when I feel really bad. That's when you know. That's the only time you can find out what the human body is all about, what you're made of. To find out limits to myself. Usually every day I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I run anywhere from 10 to 15 miles in the morning. And then I live about 25 miles from work. So I get my bicycle, commute into work, do a normal work day. At lunchtime around noon, I'll run again, anywhere from 5 to 8 miles, whatever it may be. Come back, work, and around 5:30, I'll ride back home 25 miles on my bike. If I'm feeling good and I want to get more miles, I'll get off the bike and do like a short 3 or 4 or 5 mile run. That's my everyday life. So I don't just train like an hour or so. I train until something is uncomfortable, and then that's when you know who you are.
Step 1 is vision. Step 2 is clarity. How do you make progress? A lack of self-confidence is brutal. You can't stop questioning your actions and can't find any sustainable source of motivation because it's always clouded over with doubt. The truth is, a lack of self-confidence comes down to a lack of clarity. The first half of the clarity equation comes down to perspective. We've solved that with a vision that gets stronger with faith. The second half of clarity comes down to knowing what to focus on. And luckily, this isn't a matter of luck. It's a matter of strategy. In other words, you need a plan. Your vision can seem so far away. It's like a North Star. But a plan is a guess that starts out dumb and becomes educated, that narrows your focus on what steps move the needle forward.
At some point, everything's going to go south on you. Everything's going to go south, and you're going to say, this is it. This is how I end. Now, you can either accept that or you can get to work. That's all it is. You just begin. You do the math. You solve one problem, then you solve the next one, and then the next. And if you solve enough problems, you get to come home.
I think the universe is absolutely and utterly giving. I've never seen anybody dedicate themselves to something completely and fail. I've never seen somebody eat right, go to the gym every day, train really hard, and not be in good shape. I've literally never seen it. The universe is extremely giving. If you actually try, and you actually want it, and you're actually not making excuses, lying, talking shit, you're gonna get what you want. So when I see people who don't have what they want, I consider them losers. And this may be elitist, I understand that. But if I put myself through endless pain to end up where I am, it's very hard for me to have sympathy on the man who's afraid of pain. You're avoiding pain. I've been through endless. I now have everything I've ever desired. You have none of the things you desire. Am I supposed to feel sorry for you because you took the easy way out? Am I supposed to look at you and go, oh, poor dude? No, you were a fucking coward. You didn't go through the shit I went through. You didn't put it on the line. So you deserve your substandard reality. That's what you deserve. You're a fucking loser. Because if you actually wanted it and you actually tried, you'd have it. You could have anything you want.
The only easy day was yesterday. It just never ends. I mean, I've done some races where you're on a 1 mile track and you'll run for 48 hours straight. So imagine running 48 hours and running 1 mile track. And it's not like you're sleeping, you're running for 48 hours to see how many miles you can get. I want to talk about mind torture. My life doesn't have a finish line. So when I cross the finish line of the Ironman, it doesn't matter. Because I know that, 2 or 3 weeks from now, I'll be doing something else to put my body through more pain. I believe, everything I try to do is kind of defined by excellence. But I don't think I ever reach excellence myself because I have my standards of my life are really high. So I don't think I ever reach it, but I try to every day.
I think that the main thing that stops us from sort of building an identity that we actually resonate with is how much we get attached and stuck on our unchanging self. And what I mean by that is not, just like not liking yourself when you're changing, or not liking what you're changing to, or not liking yourself at the moment, but not being able to let yourself go, let yourself change, embracing your own change. And I've been wanting to make a video on this for a minute because I feel like it's something that's super prevalent, especially in this current generation. Not being able to allow yourself to change. And I feel like I was like this for so long. I've been like this, I feel like up until recently, which I hate to say because I like to think that I've been pretty self-conscious of myself for a while. But up until recently, I didn't really allow myself, at least in mind, to change. And I didn't understand why. And it's a lot of mental conditioning.
no matter what you're going through, and I guess this is the point I'm trying to drive home here, the power that you always have over and over again is to choose how you are going to respond. What are you going to say to this world? Are you going to double down on the darkness or the negative frequencies, or are you going to be like the heroes we elevate in this country, my greatest heroes, someone that despite the wretchedness, the pain, the hurt, that will choose faithfulness or hopefulness, or ultimately the highest frequency of all, love?
And that is the perfect place where people begin to make really powerful changes. And we call that overcoming the self. Throw in the hormones of stress. And the stress hormones heighten our senses now and cause us to narrow our focus on the cause of the problem. And as the arousal of those chemicals cause the body and the brain to become alert, we focus primarily on the material world. And if where you place your attention is where you place your energy, and you're living in this state of survival and state of stress, if T-Rex is chasing you, it would make sense you would be looking in your environment where to go. Yes or no? If you felt him breathing down the back of your neck, you would be thinking about your body, would you not? And if you were thinking about getting from here to the cave, you'd be thinking about how much time it's going to take you to get there. So the stress hormones cause us to put all of our attention on our bodies.
You know, realize that you could have done something else, or that maybe your passion was attainable. It's about letting yourself go to explore, but also being conscious and mindful of the implications of your actions. You know, it's real easy for me to say, you know, let go, acting like people don't have, you know, their day-to-day stuff. I have my day-to-day stuff. You can't let go of your full identity. What I mean is let go of the parts of yourself that seek out change. You know, you can't run from it. I think a lot of times we run from our problems without realizing that we're running from ourselves. You know, like we're running from the parts of ourselves that need to heal from certain things. You know, there's things in my life that I think I have yet to overcome that I still need to. And I'm not really ashamed of it. You know, like I'm still working towards it, and I'm finding new ways to work towards it. You know, it's about confronting your problems in a way that makes you feel comfortable, but also like create enough change.
Your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. That is it. And your personality is made of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So keep thinking the same way, keep acting the same way, keep feeling the same way. Your personality is the same, and your personal reality will be the same as well. So if you wanted to change your life, if you wanted to change your personal reality, you would have to change your personality. And then you'd have to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and decide if you really want to believe that any longer. Then the moment you become conscious of those unconscious behaviors, you're out of the program. You're only in the program when you're unconscious. And so it takes an enormous amount of energy and awareness to separate from those programs. And then there's those emotions that we feel every single day that are so familiar to us that we don't even know what they are.
Every day is a chance to win or to lose. What you did yesterday in your business, what you did yesterday at the gym, what you did yesterday to level up in your knowledge or in your network, doesn't really matter. Every single day you need to show up because you're only as good as your last shot. You're only as good as your last win. You're only as bad as your last loss. But every day the clock resets to reshape your future. The clock resets for you to reset the direction of your life. You no longer hold on to, wow, well, am I going to fail today? Am I going to mess up today? No, you're going to continue leveling up. You're going to continue being in a situation where you show up every single day and give it your all. Every day is a new shot for you to change your life. Every day is a new shot for you to reinvent yourself. Maybe you understand the power that when the sun comes up, it's a new opportunity for you to live your life, a new life of purpose, a new life of achievements, and a new life of success. You wake up with intentions.
If you want to change the world, you have to have the courage to be an outsider. In other words, you have to take certain risks and do things a little bit differently. Otherwise, if that weren't the case, everybody would be successful. It doesn't work that way. Progress never comes from those satisfied with the failures of a broken system. It comes from those who want to fix the broken system. And you'll make the bigger money, you'll make the more success by acting that way. The other way may be more secure, but if you want to go to the top, you're just never going to do it unless you break the system. Change is never easy, and the closer you get to success, the more ferociously those with a vested interest in the past will resist you. They want to resist. So I just say, trust me on that, because I know you really do. You have to break the system a little bit and follow your own instincts. But if your vision is right, nothing will hold you down. Nothing.
Being there for yourself, treating yourself like a friend. Enough to the point where, you know, you allow the parts of yourself to change. You know, it's okay to grow. It's okay to not have definition. And I think once I kind of got to that point in my own development, that I was like okay with seeing parts of myself change, because even now I still hold on to stuff. You know, I'm saying this stuff, but like, you know, truth be told, of course I'm still working on it. That's kind of how I'm able to articulate it to an extent. It's kind of my way of piecing it together. You know, of course there's still parts of myself that I hold on to that seek out change, but I'm becoming more conscious of it. I'm becoming more present with how I feel, because even if it's a part of myself that I know seeks out change, you know, I still love it enough to let it go.
The reason, I think, is different for everybody to want it. Some comes out of pain. Some comes out of, you know, I want to prove somebody wrong. And then I think some people just have that switch inside, you know, Kobe and Michael. You know, I look at these guys and, you know, they're that rare breed of talent plus work ethic.
Yeah.
And, you know, I still struggle. Is that innate or is that a learned behavior?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think to transform, you have to care, even when no one else does. Because if you don't care, and if you're not willing to pay the piper, if you're not willing to put in the work, you're never going to change.
If you don't know how to push the button, it's frustrating. And it says, oh, it's so much hard work to change. It's not easy. It takes time. These are belief systems. Why? Because they try and it doesn't work. I go, that's because they didn't know how to push the record button. Most people say, yeah, I can change, but it's not working. They said, think positive, and I thought positive, and it didn't work. No, because the idea was you can think all you want, but the problem is while you're thinking, you're actually playing the negative program. So thinking about being positive is actually creating the negative problem because you're not paying attention when you're thinking about being positive. So this is the whole issue. People have a feeling that they can change, but they have no effort. They don't want to get in the game because they feel it's, you know, it's just too much time and it doesn't work. And I tried it and it didn't work. And then they give up and then life just goes on. It's seamless. You don't see it. It's just the way you've been living it ever since 7 years old. You've been just living this program.
Your future self is begging you to stop self-destructing. Every bad habit, every lie you tell yourself, it's not just stealing your time, it's killing your potential. One day, you'll wish you listened sooner. I've been in this spiral, snoozing alarms, eating like I didn't care, and numbing myself with screens. I thought that I was just tired, but really, I was lost. What saved me wasn't a miracle, it was a decision. The biggest mistake? Thinking rock bottom is a moment. It's not. It's a slow drift until one day you don't recognize who you've become. So here's what you do. Move daily, even if it's just 10 minutes. Drink water before anything else. You don't need a new life. You need a lifeline. This is it.
I know for a fact how bad hell we get. I went through it a couple times. It's probably the most brutal military training anybody can go through. So everybody to my left and everybody to my right, they've been through this. So I know mentally, you know, these individuals are extremely hard. And when stuff gets bad in, you know, in any situation, I know these guys have my back. I've done a lot of things I thought were impossible. Nothing's impossible anymore.
So that's my first subject, personal development. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Develop the skills Learn the lessons, take the classes, absorb all that is being taught to you these days. And then later on, of course, you can sort it out, what's valuable to you and how to refine it for your business and for your life and for your future. But the main thing is to get it and start this process of personal change, personal development. And let me say it one more time. If you will change, everything will change for you. You'll never be the same. You'll keep growing. As you look back on a few months, look back on a few years, you won't believe the progress you can make economically, your relationship with your family, your friends, and whether you're in sports or economics or whatever. I'm telling you, that whole process of committing yourself for personal change, personal value, can really make your life unique and worthwhile. Why not you? With good self-esteem. Why not you starting to change and setting goals? Why not you starting to make progress toward financial independence? If I can do it, you can do it. If we can read, you can read. If we can change, you can change. If we can figure it out, you can figure it out. If we can turn it around, you can turn it around. There isn't anything you can't accomplish. That's what those testimonials would say. And so I want to say it to you personally. Why not you? You've got your life ahead of you. You've got the future. You can do it. If anybody can do it, you can do it. If one of us can do it, hey, we all can do it. And my personal question to you is, why not you? We all ask why we should work this hard. Why take that many classes? Why go to school that many years? You know, why take the notes? Why read the books? Why work that hard? Why put yourself through the push-ups and the disciplines? Why? Good question, why? Best answer to why, I think, is the second question. Why not? Why not see how many books you can read, how many classes you can take, how many skills you can develop? Why not see how valuable you can become to the marketplace and to your friends and to your family? Why not see what you can make of yourself? Why not see how far you can go, how much you can see, how much you can earn, how much you can share? Why not? That's the heritage all of us have, to see what we can make out of our lives now that we've been given this extraordinary opportunity.
If everybody who's like at the bottom and feels like they have nothing going for them, reframe that as, I have nothing going for me, which also means that I have nothing to lose by taking action, it makes you a much more dangerous person. And I think that was the flip that I've had repeatedly shown to me in my life that allowed me to take the step that I was afraid to take.
A lot of people sit back and they dream about being a SEAL, or dream about being an astronaut. And all it is a motherfucking dream. They don't put the work behind the dream. That dream has become their master. When you become the master of your dream is when you say, I want to go be a Navy SEAL, and you say, okay, I'm going to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months. The dream was the one thing I thought about, and the dream was now gone. Now, what comes in, the dream goes away, and the laundry list of details and tasks come up. Gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this. That's when you become the master of your dream.
If you want to be great, you have to be willing to prepare, and prepare. And when a cat has talent, they think they can just walk out there and do what they do with their talent until they meet a cat that's prepared.
5 or 6 years, I went every single day without missing a single day. I never got sick. I was in the water on Christmas, birthday, holidays, everything. It didn't matter.
The sky is the limit. I believe that whatever I put my mind to, and if I was willing to make sacrifices and I was dedicated, that I could achieve absolutely anything.
There was probably 100 days where I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to stay in the pool or stay in my bed and not get out. But those were the days where you have to. You have to get up and do something, because I think that's really what separates the good from the great.
In any walk of life, the greats do things when they don't always want to.
I think that's what separates good from great.
I don't believe in talent. I'm here because I worked hard my whole life. Without that work, no one in this room would know who I am except my family. So to all the kids around the world watching, paying attention, and aspiring to be like one of us or even on the stage someday, put the work in and watch the magical ride you go on.
Is I know that there's really no one out there grinding like me. If I know about you,
I'll make sure that I up my game. That's what the mentality is all about. My whole thing is a mentality thing. Like I told you the last time I was on the show, I viewed myself as the weakest person on the planet Earth. My goal in life was to, in my mind, believe I'm the hardest man alive. And that's why the whole thing is can't hurt me. That's what it's about. It's about whatever you think you are, you have to make that dream a reality. But that's where the hard part is.
Never, ever give up. Don't give up. Don't allow it to happen. If there's a concrete wall in front of you, go through it, go over it, go around it, but get to the other side of that wall.
Yeah, if you can be in a bad mood for no reason, then you can be in a good mood for no reason. Which means that if you can do something that's amazing and still have a shit day, it means you can do something that sucks and have a good day. Which means the entire excuse around, I don't want to do all these hard things because as a proxy it makes my mood sad, is ridiculous, because it means that we are ultimately in control of how we want to perceive the work that we do. And so I think that is ultimately the most freeing thing that you can do in terms of how you can equip yourself to get through those harder periods.
You were born to do something great with your life in big ways and small ways. Just like that person who helped my dad, they thought that was a small thing. It may not be on Instagram, it may not get 20 million likes or views, but you were born to do something great. I'm gonna say that to you again. You were born to do something great with your life. You are not average and ordinary. And the third thing is this: there's a power to doing one more. And if you'll do one more, your one decision, one relationship, one meeting, one encounter, one thought, one podcast interview, one book away from a completely different life. You don't lack vision. You lack depth perception. You think you're further than you are, and you keep keeping it in that distance because you think it's so far away.
But the game is to be better. How do I be better than what I was? Because if I do that, for me, I just beat me.
Yeah.
This ain't about nobody else. I don't give a fuck about nobody else. I just beat me. If I can keep beating myself, if I can keep doing that, then that means that I'm in a battle with the only person that fucking makes sense. I'm in a battle with the only person that I really want to beat, and that's me.
The truth is, whatever game you play in life, sometimes you're going to lose. A point, a match, a season, a job. It's a roller coaster with many ups and downs. And it's natural when you're down to doubt yourself and to feel sorry for yourself. You want to become a master at overcoming hard moments. That is, to me, the sign of a champion. The best in the world are not the best because they win every point. It's because they know they'll lose again and again and have learned how to deal with it. You accept it, cry it out if you need to, and then force a smile.
The truth comes out. And my truth is powerful as fuck. It's real. It's tangible. I feel it. It comes out of my brain as I speak about it. I'm reliving every single dark moment of my life to be here.
Yo, we all are great. We all should think that we're great. There's no reason for you to not think that you're great. If you don't think you're great, ask yourself why. Why don't you think the highest of yourself? When you do, people have no choice but to follow suit.
It says, I know this transformation is painful. You're not falling apart. You're falling into something different with a new capacity to be beautiful. I always think, man, in terms of capacity, you could take a cat that's talented, skillful, gifted, with the wrong perspective, take an individual that's not as talented, not as gifted, not as skillful, with the correct perspective, and the cat with the correct perspective and less talent will annihilate the cat with the high talent level and the wrong perspective every day of the week, because their perspective about what they're doing is different.